Welcome back. Now, a few months ago, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, addressed the media in different fora where he said that Boko Haram terrorists have been dislodged and depleted massively. Now, it was, of course, good news to many Nigerians, especially those in the northeast of the country. But shortly after the release of the 21 Chibok girls by Boko Haram, the spate of attack by the sect has increased substantially. Recently, a top military officer and 8 others were ambushed and killed by the terrorists. That's less than a week after, less than a week after that, another top military officer was ambushed and killed, while many soldiers sustained injuries in the attack. About 2 weeks ago, the military also shot dead 2 female suicide bombers who were heading for the IDP camp in Borno, that's in Maiduguri to be precise. Now, the spate of killings by Boko Haram is suddenly on the rise again, giving Nigerians and government a serious cause for concern. With government still expecting more girls from the terrorists, what impact could this recent onslaught by Boko Haram have on the ongoing negotiations for the release of the remaining girls? Is Boko Haram gaining an upper hand again? What can be done to totally put the terrorists at bay? I'm now being joined by a security expert, Mr. Oluwaseyi Adetayo, who is actually a retired secret Nigerian. He worked actually in the Nigerian secret police now. That's the Department of State Services. Mr. Adetayo, thank you very much for joining us on the program. First is, just how do you explain this seeming frequency now of Boko Haram ambush on Nigerian troops?
Well, it's quite unfortunate. It's one of those things that is currently giving the whole country a serious concern, because a few months ago we've been made to understand that we've been able to decimate this group, even though some of us with experience in kind of situations like this know that groups like this will always, as much as possible, try to improve their capabilities to respond to military onslaught by the Nigerian government. Though it's coming as a surprise to so many, but not to me at all, because if you look at the history of Boko Haram, there have been times in the past where the Nigerian government, the military forces, have been able to, hit great blow on this group, and you see them bouncing back. They will always bounce back, because when you have a group that is being motivated based on ideological belief, they will always get people that will share that belief every day, any day, anytime, and you always find a situation where they continue to get people that will continue to join them every now and then. And for these current attacks that we're witnessing, we need to understand something here. When Boko Haram attack a military base, it's not with the sole aim of killing soldiers, no. For you to decide that you want to attack a military base, it is more or less like a suicidal mission. So it's something that you have to prepare for more, for you to be able to defeat such, conquer such base. So what drives them is what they intend to achieve. What they intend to achieve, the number one thing in their mind is for them to be able to lay hold on the armaments, on the ammunitions that are stored in such base. So when they attack, they are attacking such base with everything they have, so that they can be able to capture not just the soldiers. They want to capture their equipment, they want to capture their arms and ammunition. And the moment they succeed in doing that, that gives them the needed capability for them to carry out further attacks. And that's why the success of the first major one, before the death of Colonel Ali Abu, there was an incident where it was reported that 83 or 85 soldiers were missing. So the success of that particular attack gave rise to subsequent attacks that were seen, because they did not only succeeded in sacking that base. I believe that they must have ransacked the place and plunder the whole base, all the ammunitions there. And then if you look at the ferocity, the intensity of attacks that followed, then you know that those people have been able to bounce back because of that success of the first attack.
What is actually surprising a lot of people is that these attacks are happening at a time when the Nigerian government is supposed to be talking with Boko Haram, especially for the release of the remaining Chibok girls. I mean, at least there's some form of contact now. So one would have expected that since you have that contact, we would see a reduction now in terms of engagement.
Well, such talk is not a kind of talk when two in-laws are talking with mutual respect and mutual interest to give their children's hands, married talk. It's entirely different. Nigerian governments, they are in that talk for a particular objective, and Boko Haram are in that talk for a particular objective. The Nigerian government objective is to secure the release of those girls. Boko Haram's objective will be, among other things, release of their men. They want more money. They want to take advantage of that to be able to buy time for themselves, so that they can be able to get governments, take governments unaware. And that is what we've been able to see. Yes, I know people have been coming up to say, yes, government paid money, some commanders were released, and government said no. For now, we won't be able to establish that, because it will just remain issue in dispute whether money was paid or not. But the fact that they are talking will never, or does not make them to become friends. It's not a friendly discussion. It's not a kind of discussion where you expect that both parties will come to the discussion table and shake hands and drink coffee or tea together. No. You want something from them, they want something from you. It still will never stop them from. They will only give you what you want if they are going to have a better or greater results or gain at the end of the day, which is what I see that is happening currently.
The Chief of Army Staff a few days ago came out to say that that 60% of these guys, I'm talking about the terrorists now, that 60% of them are actually not Nigerians. How serious for you? How concerned should Nigerians be about that development?
Well, the information, I don't know whether that is based on current statistics or overall, records that they have. He became Chief of Army Staff just about a year ago or thereabout, and is a little above a year. And there have been other people that have been in charge. So the information at his disposal, I don't know if that is his own findings, current findings, or it is summation of all the figures that they've been able to obtain over the years. But one thing I want us to understand is that Boko Haram is not only limited to Nigeria. There are elements of Boko Haram in Niger Republic. There are elements of Boko Haram in Chad Republic and in Cameroon. And but largely they are from Nigeria. And I received a video of an interview of one of the Boko Haram militants that was arrested and was being interviewed by some soldiers, or interrogated by some soldiers. I just got this yesterday, and this guy said he's an Amajiri. So at the beginning of this, those people were largely Almajiris, and the Almajiris are Nigerians. Yes, we know, well, Nigerians, because they've been living in Nigeria for long, but we know that many of those Almajiris too also came from neighboring country. You see trucks, loads of cattle with children. They will just dump them in Kano market, dump them somewhere in Maduguri, and these children will start roaming about the streets with nobody, no relative, nobody, with just plastic. I don't know if you've been to the northeastern part of Nigeria before. I've been there several times, and I can tell that this is a menace. You sit there, you want to eat, you see them flooding around you, and the moment you stand up, they take your food, because that is what they live on. So maybe the current crops of Boko Haram that they are being confronted with now are those recruited outside Nigeria. So we just need to ask more questions from the Chief of Army Staff.
Let me just quickly get your opinion now on the report issued by that report actually by the United Nations humanitarian coordinator in this country, saying that if something was not done very fast, about 75,000 children could die in the next few months as a result of lack of humanitarian assistance getting to them. And we understand that part of the problem in the Northeast is that it is just difficult to access some of those places. For you, what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, if you look at the global terror index, most of those deaths recorded against Nigeria and some other countries is not directly attacks from Boko Haram. There are some of the attacks that are from Fulani headsmen. There are some as a result of the ongoing battle between Boko Haram and the Nigerian soldiers, resulting into deaths, maybe due to malnourishment, those that collateral damage. Collateral damages and the rest. So, when you are having a situation like this, it's not the number of deaths that we are likely or will be exposed to are not going to all going to be centered on those that are going to die as a result of bullet wounds or bomb blast. There are those that are going to be affected by other factors, that will be brought about by the Boko Haram or the terrorism menace that we are currently experiencing. But yes, I quite agree that we need to do more than what we're doing presently. Yes, governments, they are trying, they are doing their best, and I know that we're learning every day, and I believe that we can still learn more, we can still do more. I don't know what is happening to the issue of volunteerism in Nigeria. We need more people to volunteer, people to come out to say, okay, we are willing to serve. And we just about last week, yes, I was with the president of the Nigerian Psychology Association. Psychology Association of Nigeria, and we discussed this area, and I tried to also, I mentioned to him the need for the organization to do more. I know they are providing support, but they still need to do more to help the government. How much recognition the government is giving to them is what I do not know, but I still have intention of speaking with the incoming president also to see what they can do, because that is critical. Some it could be as a result of depression. Some could be they become suicidal as a result of a psychological trauma that they've experienced. Some might just decide to end their life. So children are largely the set of people that are really exposed more to problems arising from situations like this.
Recently, a report came out just about a week ago, categorizing Nigeria as the third most terrorized country in the world. What do you make of that?
Well, I mentioned it before. That's from the Global Terror Index by the Center for International Terrorism and Peace in the United States. They are working on statistics. It's based on the records of attacks, numbers of deaths recorded, and then the nature of those attacks in video. I think the studies is based on about 250 countries, and from their current, which covered till 2015. I think the period under review is the current one is 2015, and that shows that there is about 10% reduction in the numbers of attacks generally, and then ISIS had overtaken Boko Haram as the deadliest organization in the world. But Nigeria being number 3, that is based on the numbers of records that they are having. But I don't want to agree with that. That even though it won't really make any difference anyway. The number 1 is shared between Iraq and Afghanistan, then Nigeria 3. And they are believing that what is happening in Nigeria is much more than what is happening in Somalia. And to them, it's much more than what is happening in Libya. It's much more than what is happening in Yemen.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Oluwaseyi Adetayo, for joining us in the program. I also have problems with actually that report, because it's actually surprising that Nigeria is ranked higher than Syria, for instance, where we know there's a civil war going on there, and you have so much killing in that country. And of course, you mentioned Yemen. But thank you very much for your contributions, and we hope to have you again some other time. All right, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be discussing the plight of the IDPs in the Northeast. Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on DEJI360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ, if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.